Uh-oh, it is that time again. It is time for another Chomik video. Now, last video, we did the entirety of Trollhättan, but today I want to set my sights on a different one that we forgot about. You see, the last Chomik video before that video, I went ahead and got the Majin level Soup Chomik. But what I didn't get was an impossible level Chomik called the size 2 Chomik. And they are both located inside that fishing simulator game. But what I didn't know is that the size 2 Chomik is somehow harder than the Soup Chomik, at least in my opinion. And I feel like last video, we were left with a lot more questions and answers about this map. And today, hopefully while finding the size 2 Chomik, we will also clear up the mystery around this map. So let's get started. You know, never in a million years would I think I'd be back in this game to get yet another Chomik. But of course, here we are. This is the Chomiks. Of course we gotta make things overly complicated for another fish Chomik. All right, well, I think everybody knows their drill. Let's grab the rod and let's get cooking. Our first mission is to get a fish and put it inside this weird little box thingy that has Markiplier in it. And right below Markiplier, there's a little button that says fish button. Now you can probably guess where you have to put the fish. And once the fish presses a button, a little sound will play. And that means it's pop quiz time. And since I haven't been to school in over 2 years, this is the most math I've done, probably since Algebra 2. Nah, I'm just kidding. I cheated in Algebra 2. But how do we get to this quiz? Well, it's on a little remote island with a tree and a little note that allows you to type your answers in on the quiz. So how do you think I did on the quiz? Well, look at this. 4. Answers 4. Boom. Correct. What's 4 times 4 plus 0? So it's 4 times 4, 16 plus 0. Indigo Circle has, that's a lot of coins. Currently, Indigo Circle has 187 levels of fishing upgrades. Dude. How the hell am I supposed to know that one? And yeah, question 3, all right, you guys might make fun of me for not manually doing it myself, but there's plenty more math to do later in this video. The tutorial I was following had the incorrect answer for number 3. Now, chances are you're probably using the same tutorial, so 74,246. Question 4 asks us if we believe in soup. Answer, yes. And if you're caught lying on the quiz and you actually don't believe in soup, just let it be known, it all returns to soup. Question 5 asks you what is tuberculosis, and the answer is a small automaton, in parentheses, doll style. I don't even know what that means. But hey, plus 1,000 social credits, we got all the questions right. Now it's time to claim our prize. But in order to claim our prize, we need to get ourselves a hammer. And conveniently, there's one on top of the store. But funnily enough, of course you can't pick up the hammer. You have to pick it up with a fishing rod. But now that we have our hammer, we can get our special reward by going to a certain somebody's private island and touching their jar. No, seriously, somebody just has a house in a jar inside of it with a fireplace. Not the mason jar just sitting in the corner of the room. What's next? Am I gonna see a chair in the other corner? No, a fireplace, thank God. But before you do anything with that hammer, do not break the jar yet. And instead, click on the jar and put a coin in it. And if you're an idiot and pause the video and broke the jar before this part, because I know somebody did, you have to restart from the beginning. But if you're one of the lucky ones that survived it this far, congratulations, we got our prize, the coin. Now, have you ever wondered what was up with that giant flesh cave? Well, guess what? Today we're gonna find out, because our next step is to go to the flesh cave, but do not jump in it. Do not jump in it. If you do this next part wrong, you are also going to have to restart. So watch a professional do it and definitely not almost mess this up. On the very left side, there is a invisible wall that you can no clip through. And then there it puts you on a little flesh platform. Go ahead and jump off the platform, but do not drop your coin in the water. If you drop your coin in the water, you have to restart. So once you're in the little pond down below, there's a little platform with a golden button on it. You can probably guess what you have to do with the coin. Drop the coin onto the button and opens a note with a riddle on it. The riddle reads, if blue heed only my words, the waterfall falls up. Sub 1, the monolith answers sub 2. The transmission beckons if yellow. All of it must add together. You get 3 attempts. Reel in when you're feeling lucky. Now, all of that might sound like gibberish, but there's actually a lot of really good information inside of this riddle. The first important piece of information I see is the water falls up. Then 2 lines under that, it reads, the monolith answers. Now, with this information, we can conclude the monolith and the waterfall have something to do with each other. So go ahead and start making your way to the giant waterfall. Right next to it is the monolith. Go ahead and click on the monolith and receive the obelisk blessing. Now, if you try going up the waterfall, nothing happens, but that's where we start defining physics because we need our truck for this one. And no, you can't drive the truck. You gotta fishing rod it and pull it to the middle of the waterfall and it will start flying. Now, it's important to mention that when the truck is on this waterfall, it has a mind of its own. So good luck staying inside of it because I may have fallen a few times. No! But hey, now you're up here. What is the next step? Well, now we need to do some fishing. This part also might take a second because it takes forever to reel in the fish. You are guaranteed to get yourself a green fish called the green herring. Now, everything up to this point makes a lot of sense and is pretty easy. However, this is where things get really complicated really quickly because this next step took me roughly 30 minutes to figure out, all because I was doing a step wrong. And the tutorial I was watching didn't mention this. So I'm gonna give you guys this little nugget of information for free so you don't run into the same exact problem. The next step involves taking the green herring and going to the shack. Once you're inside the shack, place it right next to the radio. Now, this is the part that I screwed up. In the tutorial, the guy only played the first station and I couldn't hear any Morse code. It just so happens to be the Morse code can play on any of the 4 stations. But unfortunately, if your Morse code is on the Fong station, you might have a hard time hearing it. Now, I'm expecting nobody to actually be able to pick up on every little dot in the Morse code. And unfortunately, the Morse code is to a degree randomized for each person, meaning that my answer for this is going to be different than your answer. But what I can do is tell you where you should be looking, because for the most part, the code is the same for everybody else. But the first line of Morse code reads lucky number, and this is what lucky number looks like translated. And so after learning this information, I went ahead and I recorded the entire line of Morse code, and then I put it into DaVinci Resolve, and then spliced out the first part so I was only left with the number. Now, once again, I cannot help you get the Morse code. Your best bet is to open a notepad file and manually log the 3 numbers and then plug it into a Morse code decoder. And when I did that, my lucky number was 119. Now, I'm not 100% certain what the numbers can be, but I'm pretty sure it's within the range of 60 to 140. So if you got anything higher or lower than that, chances are you decoded it wrong. But now that we have the lucky number, we have finally reached the final step. But unfortunately, if you're bad at math or just bad at understanding things, this is gonna get really, really hard. The final step for the puzzle is located in a hidden part underwater. I'm pretty sure it's around like left of the spawn, and it's just like a transparent box that you can jump in. Under that, you're gonna have to do some fishing rod parkour. Now, I never explained this glitch, but essentially, if you put your rod behind you and then run forward, it gives you a little bit of a boost. And unfortunately, that's the only way to get to this platform that we need to get to. And if you don't get it on your first try, don't worry, I didn't get into like my 3rd try. And now that you're on this platform, there's a little fountain or a little pond that you have to fish into, but don't fish into it just yet because you only have 3 tries doing this. And if you don't get it within the 3 tries, you have to restart the entire process again. So please listen. So to understand this part, we need to go back to the riddle. And the riddle leaves us with a few good nuggets of information about this. The first thing I would like to point your attention to is the fact that the words blue, 1, 2, and yellow are made in different colors. It's important to note that the colors are inverse here. Blue is actually yellow, and yellow is actually blue. The next part we should also look at is the first line of the 2nd paragraph where it says all of it must add together. And if you haven't noticed, whenever you fish into this pond, you'll see that there are a bunch of numbers. These are all randomized numbers either coming in blue or yellow. But don't worry about the colors right now. Let's just focus on getting our lucky number because all of these numbers actually add up to your lucky number. In my case, it was 119. However, it will display more numbers than there actually are in the equation. So once again, take your notepad out and wait for the pattern to start. Go ahead and record every single number on this list and mark the color that the number is. So for example, if you got a 20 and it was yellow, please mark it 20Y. This is very important because the color does matter. Now, the riddle tells us if blue, sub 1, and if it's yellow, sub 2. So now that's exactly what you're gonna do with all these numbers. Go ahead and subtract them, and then somewhere in the equation, you will add up to your number. And if for whatever odd reason you don't add up to your number, you A, have the wrong lucky number, or B, are adding too many digits, or C, aren't adding enough digits. But once you have everything added up to your lucky number, it's important to take the last number in the equation and wait till it appears on the pond and then fish after it leaves. For whatever odd reason, if that doesn't work, you get 3 attempts. So try the number before that, and if that doesn't work, try the number after that. For whatever odd reason, that's just how it worked for me. And then you will have yourself the size 2 Chomik. After this, it will teleport you to another game to claim your badge. By the way, please don't tell anybody you found it. Oh my god, yeah! After you do that, go ahead back onto Find the Chomics and go to the Revamp Realm. I'm so stupid. You have to go to the Revamp Realm to get the Revamp Chomik. Oh, and then you will be given your size 2 Chomik. And just like that, another impossible difficulty Chomik done, and arguably my hardest one I've done yet. Seriously, that Morse code section made me want to tear my hair off. I was spending the majority of the time doing this Chomik on that portion. So I hope this video allows you to bypass the difficulties I ran into. Let me know what Chomik I should do next, and most importantly, please use star code corny. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.